All right, what would you really do if these webcomic platforms just disappeared tomorrow? All right, what's going on, everybody? Before I get started, like and subscribe to the video because if you don't, apparently you'll never see any of these because YouTube will never make you aware that they exist. Now that that's out of the way, to my original point, let's say these webcomic platforms like Tapas and Webtoon ended tomorrow. Like they just, I don't know, some business catastrophe took place or something and they just shut the sites down for whatever reason, or they just decided to get rid of your comic for whatever reason on some trumped up charges and decided to kick you off the platform. Like, would your comic be okay and would you be okay? I asked that specifically because I thought about it recently how many different places I actually need to put my webcomic at so that I'm not solely dependent on those two platforms. And luckily, I do actually have a PDF version of my comics available on Gumroad. And so that's at least an extra avenue for me to have my comics. I also have them available in print format at Kablam, or should I say Indie Planet. And the links for those should be in the description. But like, I don't own any of those things either. Like, I do own my comic, but those platforms I don't necessarily own, and they can do anything at a moment's notice that would end up with them shut down or something crazy could happen. So the thing is, it's like, how many different places do you have your comic, or how many different avenues do you have available to you to put it just in case something happened to Webtoon or Tapas? Like, do you have your own website for your own comic, which is probably the best thing to do and something I need to personally get on the ball with? Like, do you have your own website? Do you use social media? I actually know some people, I don't do this personally, but there are some people out there who actually upload their comics on Instagram. That works for them. It doesn't work for a lot of people. It certainly doesn't work for me to do that. But I mean, you could upload it on the DeviantArt. You could upload it to Twitter even. I don't know how that would work, but if you could figure out a way to do it, you could. But it's like, the point I'm trying to get at is, I think it would be best if us webcomic artists weren't too dependent on, I don't know, relying on one sole entity to be the house for our comics and our artwork. And especially considering, like, I started thinking about this more and more when I saw a video recently on a lot of just things that YouTube itself does. It was something where someone was venting about YouTube and complaining about how little they care about content creators. And it's like, that's not really the case. They do care about content creators, just like the people that own Webtoon and Tapas care about us as webcomic creators and readers of those platforms. But the thing is, we're not the most important thing. We're just important enough. Like, they care about themselves first. They care about their money and advertisers second. And maybe we're third. Like, and honestly, I would even say we're third. The content and the creators on the platforms that actually they work personally with, that they promote on their platforms, they care about them, and then there's everyone else. So it's like, it's not that we don't matter, we're just not the most important thing. So I guess the thing that I'm trying to say is, as content creators and especially as webcomic makers, we sort of have to get in this mindset where we look after ourselves first and make sure that we're taken care of in as many different ways as humanly possible, and make sure that we can be seen to get our stuff out there in a whole lot of different places. Like, we can't just be in the mindset, and trust me, I've been there before. I was, just a couple of years ago, I was one of those people that was like, I'm not really sure about Webtoon. I think I'm solely going to put my stuff on Tapas. And it's like, that's not really smart. Like, you need to have your stuff in as many different places as humanly possible, not just so that people can see it, but because you never know what could happen at any given point in time, and you need to make sure that all of your stuff is safe and protected. Or at least not safe and protected, because it should be regardless. But like, if something happens to Tapas and that's the only place that you have your webcomic, you don't want to have to start from scratch, is basically what I'm getting at, because that would absolutely suck. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on this, and what are some of the things that you may do to actually protect your content, protect your work, and all the different various places that you have your stuff uploaded, if you even do it at all? So just food for thought. You all have a good one, and I'm out.